Hello everyone. So I'm back. So this is my DOTNET Weekly Journey videos series, and we are now in 7th week of this video series. And let's give I'll give you a bit recap about last week. We dive into deeper, more on project system, and I have given you the newer project system in SDK is more like sophisticated in the sense that we don't have to pay attention on all of the files that we include. By default, it will directly add the CS and some files, including the data set and so on. But for you that starts from .NET Framework Word, you have to be able to keep your existing code, including that code in that project, and of course we are willing to keep the existing code, especially if your project only contains business logic and so on, which is not directly related to any kinds of .NET progress at all most of the time, I'm afraid. um, what I'm trying to say most of the time is that you may have something or some APIs in the .NET framework may be obsoleted in .NET Core, or you may use some APIs or some function calls that only available on Windows. Then you have to change it or maybe remove it on .NET Core. But that would be a separate discussion on that. What I'm trying to say is that old or legacy project system will have to be updated or migrated. We already know from last week that we have a upgrade assistant tool. You can have from the command prompt, and also you can have it from inside Visual Studio by installing extension. So now we are going to dig down a little bit deeper into the upgrade assistant. Again, I'm Eran Kusmawardono, based on Indonesia, and this is my wife. My GitHub ID is Area1. This is my LinkedIn. I'm a member of the NET Foundation OSS project onboarding committee. If you have a open source project that use .NET or based on .NET, feel free to let me know if you want to have your .NET project to have more support or more benefit as part of the .NET Foundation project. And of course, you can also reach me from LinkedIn and other things. Yes, I could give you my email, but I think I would like to know you in a professional way, so you can reach me from LinkedIn first, unless you already knew me. So feel free. Then let's start this plan for this week. We have done the introduction. We have done the what is .NET, especially the introduction of the project system. I should mention that I should modify this, and this is also uh, the next plan for me. So I'm going to migrate all of the previous slides into one big giant slide. Maybe it's more like a chronological, like, oh, this is from this week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until now we have reached week 7. And on week 8, of course, this will be not just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. It's just one slide with the updates from the journey itself. So that would also in sync with my GitHub repo for having for to contain the source code of the demo, of course. Yeah. So next week we'll see different form of PowerPoint. Will be only one instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Let's start this one. Project migration. Just to remind you that last week we have Visual Studio 17.11 release, and my Visual Studio is now 17.11.0, the version of the 2022, the latest one. And 17 is the major, 11 is the minor, 0 is the service, or you can also say, yeah, it is the patch or the service to contain all of the necessary fixes on or patch or whatever. But in the scope of Visual Studio, not in the scope of .NET itself, or maybe some other uh, dependencies and so on. Why I mentioned this again? This is also closely related to the nature of the project system itself. Because if you want to migrate, you have to pay attention on what version of Visual Studio that comes with the .NET SDK. So I'll tell you later. But what I'm trying to say is, right now we have .NET 8.0. .NET 8.0 is actually available not from the initial release of Visual Studio 2022. You can create .NET 6.0 since the original release of 2022. But after that, there is a certain release on 2022 that you can use. Let's say if you want to create for 7.0 or 8.0, which I'll show you later. The next one is, yeah, we have to recap again. Closely related to this guy, the tooling, project system, and that project system also implies that you have to have the correct version of MS Build. By default, MS Build is also in sync with the Visual Studio releases. Because if I use 2022, I have MS Build 17. If I use 2019, I have this MS Build version 16. And 2019 is version 16. 2022 is version 17. This is why it is closely, what is it for that? Tangled or related. What I'm trying to say is, again, this tooling is all important. Somehow it may look like it is independent from Visual Studio, but at the same time, like for example, Visual Studio 2022 supports .NET 6.0 and the MS Build is 17. You cannot run MS Build older version against .NET 8.0, for example. So I may have not given you the sample for this one, but actually MS Build can compile .NET SDK project. It doesn't have to be, you run .NET Build. You don't have to assume that that is the only way to compile your solution and project of .NET. You can use MS Build, especially if your project or especially if your solution contain more than one project, and if you have mix of both .NET Framework and .NET SDK projects in one solution. Actually, I haven't tried to compile .NET Build against that kind of solution. I usually use MS Build directly because to me it is safer, and I prefer to do that because I would like to know and I like to have full control of my MS build when it runs. You have choices like the verbosity levels and so on, so on, so on. And also, what kind of behavior do you want MS build to, to release or to having the result of the output? Put it where? So you will also have a more control on if I want to have on debug, it has to be put on a separate folder other than release. By default, yes, you have that debug and release, but which or what kind of debug or release folder you can also control on your own. And this is why I would not discuss this further on this weekly video. Of course, I already have some plan and I already have some writings done. And yeah, I hope I could release my own experience and my own explanation and also my own manual for discussing MS Build and also the relevant project system. But now let's just continue. You already know that .NET SDK project system is using CPS, and this is the architectural. Why it is also important? Again, the CPS model is not for all version of project system. This CPS is starting from, I think if I'm not mistaken, is starting from the Visual Studio 2015, and it has been growing ever since. Like they keep adding features, they keep like having more green features such as how do you nicely registers these project inside the Visual Studio extensibility model. Also, the way to use the MAF, the Managed Accessibility Framework, that's also very important. Yeah, of course, you can see that many times. You just use it. You know, uh, you don't have to pay attention on the gory detail behind the scenes of this guy. But I usually want to learn more. Why? Because before there was a tool like I mentioned in the last week, Upgrade Assistant. I have to migrate all of those projects, crafting it one by one, including try to avoid unnecessary element for the .NET SDK. But at the same time, I have to keep some configurations. I have to ensure that I have the proper folder for the debug configuration and also proper folder output for release configuration. Because the old .NET framework by default will not give you I have a net 6.0 slash debug slash blah 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 or the other way around. You don't have the information of the TFM embedded inside the output folder by default. That kind of capability only available since .NET SDK. But you can also configure it further if you want to. Let's skip on this one. We already know that previously the initial release of .NET Core is using JSON. But since .NET Core 2.0 is not using JSON anymore, so beginning from last week until the next discussions, I will not going to discuss JSON project anymore. And of course, it is also easier to maintain right now. Now that we have a project system that is compatible with the legacy project system, I'm going to demo it. Before that, I'd like to show you the discussion about the version. So let me show you this one. Yeah, this is a .NET official documentation. So under migration guide, we have general information, then about .NET. And you'll see that it is highly relevant to check this version, you know, version numbering in sync with the .NET SDK. We see here that again the initial release of Visual Studio 2022 is the release of .NET 6.0 SDK, the initial release. So that would be 60100. Usually it's like that. Then if you want to know the release for .NET 7.0, it is mentioned in the note, supported since 17.4. This is slightly not complete. So this what should be targeting .NET 7.0 is officially supported since Visual Studio 17.4 plus only. Targeting .NET 8.0 is officially supported in Visual Studio since 17.8 plus only. So having said that, I know maybe I should put some feedback after this. The next information is any .NET SDK feature bands are supported for the live matching runtime as standalone install. So this is also close to the related runtime. We already see that if you download .NET SDK, so let me try to download it. Where is it? Okay, there you are. Let's go from this download. Let's look for the all .NET 8.0 download. You'll see that this SDK version is linked with the runtime. So if you have 80401, that means you are using .NET runtime 808. And actually, there is no big difference between the initial release of X0 to X08, like X00. Let's see if we have here. Yeah, we have X00. This is the initial release of .NET 8. Again, usually the initial release SDK version is also 100. And 100 is closely linked to the 17.8. It is included since Visual Studio 17.8.0. So it's not just in, since. It should be since. But usually, in terms of the look of this download page, maybe it is making more sense if we just include it in. But in terms of how you keep up with the maintenance or updates of the Visual Studio and also on the .NET SDK, I think the correct one should be included since, not in. Okay, so let's try to look for, let's say, other version. We have here 803. We all know that 17.8.0 has 8.0.100. What about 803, the version of runtime? We have here, yeah, we have here X0202 and also 203. I don't know why it is having different version right now. So let's see. 17.9. Okay, interesting. So for this runtime version of X03, you have more than one SDK for Visual Studio. Wait. Okay, 2022 17.9. So it's included since Visual Studio 17.9.3. So if you upgrade your Visual Studio to 17.9.3 from 17.9.0, you will have this SDK of 8.0.202. but in my machine I don't have it because all I have is 17.10, and now I have 17.11, so I don't have this kind of runtime anymore. That's it. So this is how you look, and you will see that there is a close link. I'm afraid that you have to pay attention for your own. And this is also maybe useful for those enterprise companies because Visual Studio sometimes need to be updated in terms of company wide update or push update. I am grateful that usually I'm working in a company that you know uh, the freedom to update is given to the developer as long as they use the same version of major Visual Studio version. Like on my previous work, I used Visual Studio 2022. Before that, I used 2019. So they don't want me to use older version than 2019 unless if you are told to do so. Like on my previous employment, I use Visual Studio 2012 because I have to deal with the legacy code during my early work. And after that, after more than 6 to 7 months, then I just use 2019 and 2022 because at some point the customer are still using the older versions, and most of the time they are willing to pay more because they don't want to have a you know big bang updates mostly most of the time, especially if the customer is a large enterprise. Then you have to pay attention that yeah, you have to support them and give them a smooth migration to old sorry, to the newer version. We now here seeing the SDKs. Now go back to the upgrade assistant. I think I already opened. Yeah, this one hopefully. Upgrade assistant tool. Okay, let's just open this. Overview. If you follow my previous video, you'll see that you can have extension and also CLI or command line interface. So there is a removing attribute assembly title from blah blah blah. But sometimes you will see this, sometimes you will not see this because it depends on what is the state of your code, of course. Okay, now I'm going to just create a sample project inside Visual Studio. So I think I'm going to create a specific folder. CD source. I think not in this one. That source is supposed for NET SDK only, hopefully. So I'm going to make factory migration sample. CD project, and let's start to work inside this folder. Okay, I'm going to open Visual Studio again. Or maybe for the fun of it, I'm going to open 2019 instead. There you are. Hopefully should not ask for activation again. I should fill in with the key, but I'll use this for now. Okay, let's just new project, and I will create a blank solution. So please bear with me, and I'm going to choose different folder, weekly and migration samples. So this one, where I will name it Legacy NetEpic Projects. Let's create. Before I go and create some sample projects, I'd like to know what are the supported projects that are available. So let's go back to the documentation here. I don't see it, I'm afraid. Hmm. Okay, let's open 2022 and see the supported projects available. If I open the extension, I forgot. Have I already installed it? So let's check on install. Looks like I haven't installed it. Okay, let's just install it. Hmm, So the keyword is supposed to be this guy, upgrade assistant. If I'm not mistaken, okay, .NET upgrade assistant. So this is still the preview version, and let's look at the list of the supported project types. We see here ASP.NET, Azure Function, WPF, WinForms, class libraries, Console, Xamarin, .NET MAUI, and UWP. Coming soon is WCF to WCF Core, which is not yet available. Let's view this extension in the browser. Usually, this kind of tool has open source. I mean, it has its own open source repo. So let's see if I can open the. We don't have it. We don't have it. Ah, this guy should have it. Works with this, and this. It says here Microsoft.com. This is doesn't have like the project website or whatever. It should have it. You have a change history. Okay. Oh, there is a update action blog post. Let's see this guy since 2020. Okay, 2023. Okay, let's try this. Usually, I would love to use the inline installation experience within Visual Studio, like the one we see here. So I'm going to install this. I usually like to have a offline experience, like so I don't have to check the pros. Somehow, if I'm not mistaken, Visual Studio cache this information when we are viewing the extensions. Okay, it is still installing. Um, if this is installing, it should have or should display cancel instead of install. So I don't know. Maybe it's still a bug or whatever. I don't know. I haven't noticed it before. Should not this long. Okay, while we are waiting for this to complete, we can also try to run the CLI, of course, as I have mentioned in last week. Okay, I will open a new developer command prompt again. This time, yeah, it's in the administrator. Yeah, so .NET tool. Where's the available command for this one? .NET tool list and supplies dash G for global tool available. We have here 05711. Is there a way to update this? Hopefully, .NET tool. Let's see the syntax for .NET tool update. Okay, .NET tool update with the package ID is upgrade assistant. Um, it's been a week, so I suspect that there may be some new updates, and let's try to update this update assistant. The name of this update assistant and what's the option? Of course, I'm going to use global for this one, and the other option is include pre-release packages. I think I'll stick to the default option and just use global instead. And let's run it. So it's already installed and I don't have a newer version. This is great. So it's already the latest version. Okay. Yes, so let's go back to this. Is it finished? Your changes are scheduled. Oh yeah, usually you have to close Visual Studio in order to update your extension. Since this is for 2022, you see I'm still having 2019 open, and this guy will only focus on updating this extension for 2022. So you don't have to worry about breaking existing 2019 installation. So just click continue modify and it is install the upgrade assistant. So usually some people are asking me about, do I have to run it inside Visual Studio or run it through command prompt? To me, it is easier to run inside Visual Studio because you will see that the message given of that tool is usually displayed inside Visual Studio, and you have a nice GUI user experience. But then it's up to you. So let's just close this for now. Open Visual Studio again. I'm going to keep Visual Studio open and going back to this 2019. So, okay, hang on, let me open that extension again. I'm going to go to the install. Yeah, this is the installed extension on my machine right now. Go to enlarge it a bit. Okay, so these are the supported per system or project types. Of course, I'm not going to try all of them. I'm going to try the simplest one like console and WinForms and WPF. Of course, class library is also doable because if you can migrate console, that means that you can easily migrate any legacy class library project to later version of NET Core or from Net Framework to NET Core. So I'm going to focus on only trying to check the migration for console, WWF, and WinForms let's start creating the console first. Go back to the 2019 and I'm going to create the console. So this console app, yep. Uh, you can use any language as long as it is running for .NET Framework, of course. And I'm going to use this one, console app. Let me see. So supposed to be C sharp. Ah, this one, console app for different. Just make it name net fx 47 console and create, and I target to 472. To me, 47 or 44.8, it doesn't matter for this context because I'm going to show you the simplest one. Just click create. But if you want to try this, you have to be sure or ensure that you have the necessary support or tooling for .NET Framework Core 7.2. And the way you check it, you have to go through the Visual Studio installer here. Visual Studio installer. And check your workload of Visual Studio 2019 here. Oh, I have a new update. Okay, I will update later. Not in this recordings. Let's see. Modify and look for 472. Let's go to the individual components we have here. Okay. So you need the targeting pack and also the SDK. The SDK is the SDK to compile, and targeting pack is the reference assemblies to target to the 472. Okay, I'm going to close this for now and keep this open. And let's create 472 console. Yep, we have here our old class program with the static void main. And just to ensure that this runs okay, I'll just display. Oh, it doesn't work. Oh, usually. Oh, okay. What? Hmm. So usually I press CW and okay, console red line. Hello, .NET framework. And to make it more interesting, I think I'll try to display the version, but I think it's okay. Okay, let's just keep it as is. Hello, .NET framework. So let's try to run it. Maybe I should give some pause after it display that. So read line. Run this guy. Yep. Hello .NET Framework. And now it close. So we have this nice console. And now let's move on the next type of the project. And we'll create new project. Change it to desktop. And just to focus on Windows, of course. And I'm going to create Windows Forms app. So this means this guy is going to create a new .NET Framework WinForms project. Next, I'm going to use the same 472 and Yeah, I'm going to use the similar theming name FX47 informs. And I'm going to create. This is for WinForms. Yep, we see the usual designer or visual designer of WinForms. Usually it starts from form1.cs. So I just add a new control here. And okay, still initializing, it's done. And I'm going to create a label and put some simple code. So after that initialize, that label1.text is hello WinForms. That, and I'm going to change the startup project. Start this hello WinForms. So everything is fine. Now let's create the next type of the project, WPF. So where is it? Where is it? Add new project, Windows desktop, and now I'm going to create WPF app. There should be WPF app for .NET Framework. Yes. Try to use the same naming theme. NET FX47 WPF. Using the same 472. Create this. Now you are also have the visual designer of WPF, the old WPF. Now you have these three. So let me see. Okay, we are now in Visual Studio 2022. Let's just to have a quick recap. In Visual Studio 2019, we have three types of project. We have console, we have WinForms, and WPF. Now let's move to 2022. Of course, I'm going to close this solution first for now. And I'm going to open the same solution inside Visual Studio 2022. But before I'm going to run this upgrade assistant, I'm going to ensure that I have the backup. So let me go back to the repo here and see. Okay, now I'll just run Visual Studio Code first just to have a quick commit and let's wait for a while. There you are. Okay, it's hard to see within this guy. So, okay, I'm going to select all. Where is it? There should be all. Yeah, Control A. Then I'm going to unselect some of them, especially those under the source folder. I put the samples inside the folder of project migration samples. So, okay. Let's see, is this the correct one? Ensure commit of these samples of project migration. First, commit the legacy.NET project samples. And let's commit this. Okay, let enlarge this a bit. I think this should be all. Just press commit. Stage all your changes and commit. Yeah, directly. Yes. Okay, I've done it. Now I'm going to push the change. Okay. Looks like I have to update my Visual Studio Code. Let's keep it for now. I'm going to update this later. Let's go back to the repo and I think I'm going to look the status here. Okay, everything is clean. Nothing to commit, of course. And let's check the configuration. Hopefully this is already correct. Username is my name and email. Yeah. Okay. I think it's already good. Hmm. Okay, I only have main branch. Okay, this should be enough. Yep, I have ensure that I have set my commit. Now let's try to run it inside Visual Studio 2022. See, I have more than one Visual Studio. This is code, and this is 2019. Let's open that repo for now. This should be in .NET Weekly. Right now, I have more than one solution, so it will not open any one of these because I have to choose one from many. So I'm going to open this legacy NetFX project here. Yep, it is now open. After you install this extension, you will see a new menu action such as this upgrade. So I'm going to close the extension manager for now. Let's try to do the simple thing. So I'm going to upgrade the simplest one, the console project. We have a program CS, we have app config, we have properties references, and by default, if you want to check the content of this guy, let's try to see. I have to unload this first. Again, you cannot directly open the CS parts of NetFX projects. You have to unload it, and then it will show you the content of these CS parts. You have many property groups, platform target, including the .NET Framework specific target framework version, and project grid is also embedded here. This is a legacy .NET project by default. The tool version is 15. It means that it is using MS Build version 15. But actually, you can be sure that it is compatible. It has a forward compatibility, like it can be open inside 2022 and maybe a later version of Visual Studio, of course. Then I'm going to load it again. Reload. Normal reload should be fine. And before that, I'm going to compile this to ensure that we still be able to compile nicely inside Visual Studio 2022. So let's try to do the upgrade. So let's try the upgrade, the simplest one. This one is the console. And I click upgrade. Okay. This is why it is more pleasant to have this inside Visual Studio, because you have a nice user experience, nice UI. We have two options. So you can upgrade to newer .NET version. You can also upgrade project features. So let's try to find out what is this. I don't know what is project features. Learn more. Hopefully, okay. Upgrade assistant. There is no. Which option to choose is in different upgrade types. Okay, unfortunately, again, the look is totally different from the one that we see right now inside the Visual Studio 2022. Okay, I only see two newer version. I mean, this one looks like a upgrade to .NET Core, bringing its cross-platform high-performance capabilities. The other one is project features. Well, let's go back to the original blog post. We got nothing, I'm afraid. So looks like the same. Upgrading your .NET project. Yeah, these two are the same. Okay, so report a problem. This is not a problem of Visual Studio, of course. This is a problem of the extension itself. So let's see what is the documentation says. In place, side by side, and side by side incremental. What? Let's just write. Okay. Oh, I see. Uh, hmm. Select how you want to upgrade sample NetFX 4.7 console. Upgrade selected without changing the whole project and staggered framework. Let's see if I upgrade project features. Convert project to SDK style. Enhance tooling capabilities, including inner loop development. Notice that all project flavors are supported. Manual refactoring project might be needed. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, let's try this one. Convert project to project SDK style. We could, like go back to the original one. Next. Now the upgrade it's ongoing. Let's see the node successfully applied. Finalize project dependencies. Everything seems fine right now. And we'll see. Can we look? Oh, I see. It is using. Okay, okay. I understand now. If we choose the second option, it is using this tool to upgrade to keep the target framework as is. But now it is using the Microsoft .NET SDK or the .NET SDK project style. We have a package reference include the Microsoft C Sharp and package reference include the system.data.dataset extensions version 450. Can we still run it? I think we can. Uh, Sorry, not this one. Set as startup project. Yeah, this one. Yep, we still have the same code run successfully. Okay, so that's it. Let's look at the changes that has been done. As you can see, it tries to delete all of the unnecessary elements like the target framework version, configuration, and many things like reference. If you see that this reference in the old or the legacy one, it is used to refer to the Microsoft Global Assembly Cache. This is why the newer one in the SDK assume that since you are targeting this to NET 472, it will try to use the existing nature of the NET framework, which is it will use the global assembly cache. But my confusion is it is still referencing the system.data.dataset extension. Why it is adding this guy as a NuGet references, which is something that, or is it because we are now using .NET SDK? Hmm. Let's look at the dependencies. Okay, I can see these packages. I can see assembly. Yeah, everything looks quite good. Let's compare this assembly with the other existing .NET project. We have reference here. Okay, everything looks similar. Not quite. Okay, this one has some different symbol. Okay, this is assembly reference properties, and this guy is reference properties. Okay, I see. So it has different meaning. Yeah, this is interesting. So if you want to, we could discuss this on later weeks. You can see that I already convert this console to be a normal .NET framework, but using the SDK style. Just for the sake of conciseness, let's try to convert these WinForms to .NET Core instead of the old one. You can still have these two options. Let's choose upgrade to a newer .NET version. This guy. Okay, you have a in-place project upgrade or side by side. Side by side mean that upgrades project and its component in a copy project using transformation applicable for the project. So let's see the documentation. What does this mean? Let's see. Where is it? This one? Yeah. No, no, not this one. How to run it? Making changes. Overview. Okay. In place means that upgrade your project without making a copy. Side by side, it means that copies your project and upgrade your copy, leaving your original project alone. Let's take the safest one. That means I'm going to choose this side by side project upgrade instead of in place. I think this is a good practice, meaning that you can have a way to differentiate and to check what's going on. So I'll choose this and click next. Once you upgrade target, you can use new project, of course. Let's click next. Nice. That's a core, WinForms core, of course, yeah. And let's just click next. Great. So now I have more than one options. I can choose to use net 60, net 7. Yeah, net 7 is the end. I think it's end of support. And net X0. Okay, let's just use net X0 for now. I'm not going to try to use this net 9. And click next. Select component to upgrade. Upgrade selection. We have here a exclamation icon. This means it has some warnings. Default font in Windows Forms have been changed from Microsoft Sans Serif to CQI UI. In order to change the default font to use the API application default font. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I think this is a minor warning. We can ignore it. Everything looks good. The regex is unchanged. Assembly info is also unchanged. Great. Okay. Let's look at this WinForms core. Yeah, we have NetX0 Windows, we have WinExe, and we still have Microsoft C Sharp. Wow, I think we don't need this, but let's look at the existing. So, is there any changes happening for the code? Oh, okay. Looks like we have additional files of resources. And the modified project is looking like this. Again, we see that it removes all of the unnecessary tags or XML elements. Output type is exe, of course. Oh, no, no, this is for the NetFX, sorry. I should see this in the solution, yeah. And the projects here. Of course, if you change the type of the project or that framework to NET Core, the project type will also change. If you see here, since I'm changing these two, the console and the WinForms, those two will also get updated in the solution as well. Yep. But there is no update. Looks like the GUID is still the same. Interesting. Oh, I see. Because the sample console is still using the NetFX. Okay. Let's do an in-place upgrade for the WPF. See whether if I'm mistaken or not about the GUID changing, but we'll see. I'm going to do the okay. Let's instead of this, let's try to build solution first. See whether I find some strange warnings. No, that's cool. We're good. Oh, there's a warning. This call site is reachable on all platforms. Oh, it is related to high DPI. Mm-hmm. Windows 6 months or later. Let's check this code analysis. Control click and we see here CA1416 validate platform compatibility. I see. Yeah, this is a good practice actually. We should mark it using the supported OS, or I think also the next way is the easiest one to me is just marking to use the TFM with the version of the operating system. We have already discussed this in the previous weeks, and now you see that this is becoming more and more, and also not just relevant, but also very, very important to know that yes, we have to supply the versions that we are using right now. Okay, TFM is NET 5.0 Windows 10 with the version of 19041. Okay, let's see if I change this, will it fix this warnings? So I need to check the version. Uh, hmm, the version should be. Let's go. Okay, let's just open the another instance of Visual Studio. We already have one sample code that's already working, and let's just use that. Um, yes, let's just open our old Halo.NET console solution, and let's see sample WinForms. We should have the oh, yep, .NET X 0 Windows 10 0220000. I think I will use this one for now, and I'm going to check whether yeah it is running well or not. Going to paste into this legacy project here, and let's see where is that error. The sample database WinForms core. Okay, I will update to use the complete TFM with the OS versions. So Windows 10 0220000.0, and try to recompile it again, or maybe rebuild. I still have this CA, unfortunately. This call site is reachable Windows 6.1 or later. Okay, it seems I could not use that. Supported OS platform. How to fix violations? Supported OS platform. Supported OS platform. Okay, let's try to fix this later. This seems a little bit confusing to me, of course. But this is a nice thing about having journey with all of you guys, that everything is candid. I do it directly. I'm not practicing this before. Okay, we have here WinForms. Now let's do in place for WPF. Upgrade. Upgrade project to a newer .NET version. Let's do in place. Next. Use x.0 as the target. Next. And upgrade selection. Everything looks good. And let's try to compile this. Okay, everything looks good. Try to run this. Try to run set a stop of project. Run it. Yeah, we still be able to run it successfully. Let's look at the modification that has been done. Okay, let's just try to collapse this. Focus on the WPF. Okay. You see it deletes the assembly info and only modify the CS procs. It seems this WPF is having the easiest one, I believe. But again, I'm still confused. It is using NuGet reference to for Microsoft C Sharp 470. I think this is not needed. Yeah, we see that some things are not supposed to be there, but now we have it. But to me, that is yeah, you can consider it as a major issue or minor issue. But to me, for the sake of having this upgrade assistant to be working and I present it to you, this should be enough for the most cases, of course. For many cases, it may be enough or maybe not enough. Depends on what your codes really is. Again, if you are focusing on migrating the business logic code, should be easy because usually business logic means that you don't have any kinds of operating system specific. But if you do WinForms, WPF, you'll have a operating system specific, especially for those are already known available for Windows. Yes, we have .NET Core, but you should be aware that you are now targeting .NET Core on Windows because you are going to create a WinForms or WPF app. And that's it. We have discussed this upgrade assistant inside Visual Studio, of course. And next week, I'll try to run it using command prompt. Hopefully, I'm not going to burn anything. Because again, to me, it's easier to see within Visual Studio because of the nice user experience and UI. I've shown you the simplest one, and next one is the command prompt way of migrating this. And of course, you have to be careful when I do the migration. There can be some additional updates that may be available in between. So I need to always check the tooling status whether I have to again update it again or not. It depends, but let's see on next week. So of course I welcome feedback from you guys, and don't forget, just if you enjoy this video and the previous one, please feel free to like. And if you like and want to see more videos about this, if you, let's say, want to keep up with my journey, don't forget to also subscribe. And I welcome you to share my videos because I got some nice feedback and they say that this is easier for me to see because again, my video format is always like I do something in front of you. I may have something broken, something not broken in between. That's it. It's to me it's easy for me to be doing this as a candid as possible, as long as you also willing to check the documentation, especially the official documentation, of course, like I have here. So please like and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next week. Bye bye.